So you guys ready for the introduction?
Yes.
No.
Are you guys ready to do the podcast?
No.
We're podcasting. It's already happening.
Oh, that was
the introduction.
casting.
I was
the
born
pod?
podcasting.
Is that a good introduction, guys? What do you think?
Hello.
Hey.
That's what I fucking think.
Wow.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here from Geekout Freakout. As always, joined by my lovely wife, Christina. Christina, hey. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
And, my awesome best friend, Spencer. Spencer, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's pretty busy, pretty hectic, but it's okay. That's life. Life comes at you fast.
Life comes at you pretty fast.
Fast life in the lane of the fast.
But now we're going to talk about all the things we love to talk about.
That's right. As always, we're going to be talking about the news, and this week's topic is going to be movies. Movies that are terrible, but we like them anyway. Bad movies that are good. Is it movies so bad that they are good? Not always.
It's a mixture. It's going to be movies that are so bad they're good, bad movies, but we love them anyway, and then probably one or two very specific cases, movies that are considered bad, but people are just wrong.
We genuinely think are great.
Yeah.
So what's one from your list that you think like was one of the worst or best, one of the best worst movies ever? Give me a little teaser. What kind of movies?
I'm going Wild Wild West as my teaser.
Wild Wild West,
starring William Smith.
Yeah, I'm familiar, and a
giant robotic spider.
Yep, absolutely. What's one? What do you got, Christina?
Repo the Genetic Opera.
Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yeah, that is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also great.
One that I got on my list. Drop Dead Fred, if you can believe it, only has a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously, that's wrong.
This modern American classic.
There's a 0 missing after the 9. I think it's a typo. But whatever. So obviously, we didn't have a podcast last week, guys. There was some events going on in America. I don't think we were really just in the mood to talk about this less serious stuff, if that makes sense. But now we're okay. We're recovering. And we can get into some good old geek shit like usual. This week we have some news about the Justice League movie. As always, the ongoing reshoots, which they still are not done with, I guess.
Which is maybe a little concerning at this point.
I don't think it's concerning.
I disagree.
I'm glad that there's doing so many reshoots. Refilm the whole movie with Joss Whedon in charge.
I keep forgetting Joss is at the helm of the reshoots. I keep just thinking about all of the reshoots for Suicide Squad, and then it still came out the way that it did. And
Sure. But the specific news: the actor who plays Cyborg's dad, who is of course responsible for creating Cyborg. I don't know. Do you guys know that?
No.
Creating isn't that? Wasn't it out of necessity?
Yeah, his Cyborg is injured. I can't remember how, but like pretty much his whole body's gone,
just like decimated.
Yeah, and he is trying to like use robotics to rebuild him, and ultimately fail. So he resorts to testing a mother box, and the mother box attaches to him and forms Cyborg. And,
gotcha.
yeah, sometimes Cyborg resents that.
I could see
like
that.
His dad did that. But anyways, they're lightening the mood for the character of Cyborg, which I think he was definitely the most boring one in what we've seen of him in the trailers. He seems terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely standing out from the others is like, Jesus, this dude has no personality and no jokes.
Right.
Also, there's a bit of uncanny valley for me that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get past with this big CG fucking head.
Yeah, the CG effects are not great for him either, for sure. I mean, maybe they'll be improved. That stuff changes from trailer to like the actual movie.
Make his face just a little less impressive and make it prosthetics and just let him speak on camera, I think. But we'll see.
Well, I just think he looks too shiny. Like, I think just dull it down a little bit to help him not. When he's in a frame, he's like the whole rest of the movie is like kind of dark and dreary, and then he's like,
and then you remember made of chrome.
Yeah, he's Chrome Man. And if the chrome isn't enough, the bits that aren't chrome are like bright glowing lights.
Yeah, they're very. He's a shiny guy, really.
Yeah, it's a little much.
All shiny and chrome.
But I'm all for lightening the mood of the character. I mean, he's. I think we talked about this in a previous episode that like Teen Titans is sort of the go-to headcanon version of Cyborg for a lot of people in our generation, at least I think. And he's fucking hilarious in that. Like, he's like the heart of the team.
Yeah, it was my introduction to the character at all.
Right. He's always joking around with Beast Boy, but he's not as goofy as Beast Boy.
Yeah.
And then he also has, like, I think a lot of times when everybody's being all depressed or dealing with the shit, he's like, hey guys, like, let's fucking eat some pizza and save the world and just have a good time.
Yeah, he can offer up a bit of morale.
Yeah. So I definitely hope that they can salvage the character and turn him into a good character. Because from the trailer, I mean, again, we didn't see much of him, but I just got the impression that it was like, well, this guy's part robot, so he's going to act like a robot.
Exactly. I have expected him to be, I am a computer.
Do not worry, Alfred, it is Computer Man.
Hello, I have met the Batman. I don't know. I trust it in Joss's hands. He's one of the things he's always been really, really good at is these grand adventures interspersed with like humorous repartee and
say that word again.
Repartee?
Cool.
Is that
just a little fancy? I think you can say rapport.
Oh, okay. Well, a charming back and forth in the middle of these grand adventures. You know, you look at the first Avengers movie, you look at Serenity, even as far back as Buffy was, you know, he loved his little quips, but I think he's really, really good at doing that and making it convincing. I just watched The Dark Tower, and they threw some humorous moments in there, and you could completely and totally tell that they were shoehorned to be like, we need them to lighten up a little bit, so let's make a dumb joke right here, and and really make it feel forced.
Oof.
But Joss and
his humor, I see totally what you're saying right now. Yeah, his humor always is like supernatural.
Oh yeah, it feels like a conversation that real people would be having and jokes that real people would be making.
Yeah. Yeah, we're as funny as Hawkeye. You know what I mean? We make Hawkeye level jokes on a daily basis. And other DC Universe news. We have some updates on the Ben Affleck Bat situation. It's Batwatch. Batwatch 2017.
Batwatch.
There's like a graphic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with the newest update on Batwatch 2017. Casey Affleck, Ben Affleck's brother, at I think a sports ball game of some kind, was interviewed. I think it was like a Red Sox game, if I recall the article correctly.
Sounds about right.
Stated that Ben Affleck would not be reprising the role of Batman. So there you go. What is this? I'm just getting a new update. A few days later, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Affleck's PR people confirmed that Casey Affleck was just having a little laugh and that Ben Affleck will be Batman.
This has been Batwatch
2017.
But seriously, what the fuck is happening?
I don't know. Every couple of days, it's a flip-flop. You know, will he or won't he?
More leaks than the Trump White House. Like, seriously. Ayo. Somebody fucking get a definitive answer.
This is maybe more entertaining than the movie. This is the movie I want. A movie based on Ben Affleck's indecisiveness on whether or not he wants to be Batman.
It's going to be Bruce just, like, putting on the cowl, taking off the cowl.
Yes.
No, I mean, I want it to be like a biopic on actual Ben Affleck, man.
Oh, okay.
Did you think that's what he does? Because I feel like Ben Affleck can be like, no, the movies have been terrible. People made fun of me. They said they didn't like it. I'm not going to do it. And then, like, the costume's in his room. Like, he sees it in the corner. And he puts it on and he looks in the mirror and he's like, but Batman's so damn cool. And look at me. I'm Batman. I'm going to be Batman. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it, guys.
I think that's exactly what happened.
And then he's just like at a deli counter somewhere grabbing a sandwich and some guy's like, hey, it's fucking Batman.
Boo, you suck, this Batman. And he's like, I won't do it anymore.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not Batman. I never was Batman. I'm just imagining Ben Affleck having like the most fragile ego imaginable.
Just very, very sensitive, tender little guy.
He's good at what he does. I wish he would have some self-confidence.
In similar flip-flopping news, reports that Riz Ahmed has been cast in the Venom movie as the role of Carnage. What do you think about that?
I think that bodes well for the film.
Yeah, well, too bad, because there's also reports that Riz Ahmed has been cast in the movie and is not Carnage.
Okay. Well, if you were if you were trying to make a Venom movie, would you at least attempt to hold in the reveal of Carnage until, like, I don't know, maybe a second trailer or something, like, to build hype?
If I was making a Venom, I mean, that's asking that question.
If I was making a Venom movie, I'd be making a Carnage movie? Is that like...
No. If I was making a Venom movie, Carnage probably wouldn't be in it. If I was making the first one, and it wouldn't be a Venom movie, it would be a Spider-Man movie that had Venom in it.
Well, let me tell you
I would do another Spider-Man movie that had Venom and Carnage.
If we're going to be fair to this hypothetical, you don't have that option.
I know. I had this conversation with Justin earlier today, actually, though. We were talking about it, and he thought that Spider-Man, that the only two cool villains that Spider-Man has is Venom and Carnage. Which I think is not correct. I think that Spider-Man has the best rogues gallery, aside from Batman, out of any comic hero. Like, I think that Mysterio, Scorpion, Shocker, the Vulture, Rhino are all super cool characters and really interesting.
Yeah, maybe a few animal puns deep, but that's fine.
Well, there's like a jokiness. He has, I don't know, his villains have, like, there's almost like a ranking tiered system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in some ways, like, the low tier characters are more interesting. Like, you see that in the comic The Superior Foes of Spider-Man, where it's like, it's Shocker and Rhino and I can't even remember one that's like a bug guy. But you get to see them in, like, their day-to-day, and there's a real sense of, like, believability to it.
Isn't one of them, like, in a shitty rundown apartment? And...
Yeah, they all are. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like, they get, very rarely are their crimes successful. And you get to see moments where they're, like, all planning things, and Shocker specifically is like the star of that comic, and they're all like, yeah, we're gonna rob this bank, and then we're gonna hold everybody hostage, and then when Spider-Man gets there, this is how we're gonna kill him. And Shocker's like, listen, guys, let's just rob the bank. Let's get out of there before Spider-Man even gets there. And they're like, no, we're gonna kill Spider-Man. And he's like, why? What good does that do us? Like, if we kill Spider-Man, now we're going to jail for murder if we're lucky.
The murder of a child?
Yeah, and he's like, if we're lucky, if we're unlucky, Punisher steps up into this side of New York, and now we have to deal with Punisher. I'll take getting punched and webbed any day, and then, a slap on the wrist jail sentence than just getting fucking murdered by the Punisher. Like, and more so in his comics than a lot of other villains in other series, you get to see that side of his characters. Like, it's played up in that series, but a lot of times you get a couple of extra panels of the villains and they get some breathing room, even when they're not ones that have, like, big, I want to rule the world plans.
Yeah, there's a lot less grand evil.
Yeah. Well, like, you saw it in, I mean, the best part about Spider-Man 3 was Sandman's plot, right?
Yeah.
Like how he's, dude, I'm just trying to rob a couple of banks to make some money in order to fucking not have my daughter die from cancer.
Yeah.
Like, can I just do that?
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, I mean, yeah, dude, you can do that. Like,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man has a very interesting dynamic with his characters. There's also oftentimes where, like, they're webbed up and he's waiting on the cops to get there to pick him up, and they're just, like, fucking talking to each other for a moment. Like, so I don't know. Back to the point of the Venom and Carnage movie, I think they're, like, the most terrifying and the capable of the most destruction. Like, in the comics universe, Venom is regarded by S.H.I.E.L.D. as one of the highest level threats.
Yeah. Like,
on planet Earth. But I don't know, man. I think that they can't carry a movie by themselves.
I don't think they can carry an origin story movie together either. That's one of my things. Like, as much as I associate Venom with Carnage,
Yeah.
wow, man, that's a lot to pack in.
Yeah, it really is.
And again, just coming off the Dark Tower, that did not work well.
Trying to cram everything into one short movie.
Well, and not even that, just like when you get past the point that you can't cram all of that into that short movie, it becomes how do
Leave
you
out a whole
how
lot.
do you readapt
Sure.
the story to fit into one movie, and that almost never goes well when you have to start shredding things from the source material itself, origin story, to make room for. Like, how do you convincingly talk about the origins of Venom, and then you like pivot to, okay, well, here's Carnage, and it's kind of similar, but it's a little different. And here,
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, man. There's just it's just cramming so many things in there, and like, again, they've already, by even saying that Carnage is going to be in it, they've already reached the conclusion that shit, Venom can't carry a movie on his own. Unless he's being like the anti-hero version of Venom.
Yeah.
Which only happens when he's fighting Carnage.
So you think we're going to get Venom introduced to us as, like... Because that's going to be his main introduction to
a whole universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And in a lot of ways to a mainstream audience. I've talked to a lot of people who didn't even realize... like the differences between Black Spider-Man and Venom and stuff like that.
Sure,
and Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi film. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they're going to have to establish him as an anti-hero, and then where do they go from there? Like, aside from creating...
Exactly.
I mean, just more symbiotes, you know? Like we've brought up in the past. I mean, if he beats Carnage in this one, then what's next? It's She-Venom and, like, symbiote wars, where just everybody gets a fucking symbiote suit. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's going to get so boring so quick.
Yeah, is Sony going to have enough money to make their own movies outside of the ones that Marvel Cinematic Universes or Marvel Cinematic Studios is?
It already is boring for sure. It's a boring concept.
What's next?
Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Benicio del Toro plays the character DJ, and in some interviews, he was described as being, quote, a slicer.
Oh, my ears perk up at that word every time.
So a slicer is the Star Wars universe version of a hacker.
Only it involves like physical fucking like hot wiring sometimes. And...
Yeah. Like splicing together, fucking wires and security tunnelers.
Yeah.
Which like burrow into machines to extract information and sometimes render them useless afterward. And all kinds of cool stuff.
One thing that I will be okay with if they show it to me this way, and I don't know why I'm okay with it in the Star Wars universe and not other universes, but like the very, very fundamentally misunderstood concept of hacking in like television shows, where you're just going nutso on a keyboard and a bunch of stuff popping up everywhere, and I actually would maybe want to see that.
No, hold on. Think about this though. Have you ever seen anything that is similar to a keyboard on any of the technology they have in Star Wars?
Similar to a keyboard, yes, there have been buttons arranged in a very close proximity to one another in rows and columns. They had that on the Death Star.
I don't think dude.
Mm-hmm. It didn't seem
through the Death Star plans and they're in front of that security console. Is that?
No, I'm not talking about Rogue One. I'm talking about the original trilogy.
That's what I'm talking about. When they're going through when they're on the Death Star and they're in that little security side room where before they switch into the stormtrooper outfits, and Obi-Wan runs off. And R2-D2's cycling through the plans on the screen, and then he's boop, 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 and he's like, oh, she's here. Well,
yeah, that was just a wall. I mean, no, it wasn't specifically there. The scene that I'm specifically thinking of is when Han Solo gives this whole, oh, no, we're fine here, how are you? And he's talking through that communicator on that desk. There's,
I see what you're saying.
Like, so I don't know if there was Arabesh on there. I don't know if it was actually a keyboard, but but we've at least seen screens that have been accompanied by buttons.
I don't know. I guess the point I was getting at is I like that usually it doesn't seem like it's that kind of an interface. Most of what you see is an arrangement of buttons that are like varying sizes, and like some are like a switch and others are like a depressed button, and like
there's that weird transparent cube that comes out of the wall.
Yeah. Or like rises up out of the top of it. Yes, exactly. And there's things that appear like levers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it would be more interesting to me if it wasn't just like typing away on a keyboard, but more like operating a number of different
Like
interface
a
devices.
gigantic analog machine. Like
Yeah, well, it's kind of back to when we played Star Wars RPG, and you guys got mad at me because I insisted that the data pads didn't have cameras on them.
That's exactly what I was about to be.
I knew the whole
about
time
over
that you had a
here.
point, but for the purposes of I'm still heated. I'm
I
still
know, I
too
was
hot.
Like, there's also nothing like a camera. Like,
I'm just saying, I don't think that. Whatever, man. Their technology is very weird and specific, and I like it a lot. That's one of my favorite things about Star Wars.
I just had a really cool thing that I wanted to do. That was all. It just required me to have that one piece of technology for one moment.
But no.
I mean, whatever. The only cameras you've seen are droids specifically built to be cameras.
Yeah, well,
that's all I'm saying.
Now we're all adults and can't play tabletop games anymore, so who cares?
But I want to see a security tunneler. They've shown it in Rebels, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And like, and it was never even explained to me specifically. The security tunneler goes into the slot that an astromech droid inserts its little arm into and rotates. And so it's like a physical device meant to like mimic an R2 unit.
Yeah.
Which, like, even when you used them in like the RPG games, you never visually saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh shit, that's how a security tunneler works. That makes so much sense. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So anything more of that is cool. And it's also been described as a morally ambiguous character. So it seems like he's sort of a slicer for hire, if you will.
Nice.
Which I'm excited for Benicio del Toro to be in like fucking anything.
Oh, for sure.
He was one of my favorite. Do you think he'll adopt a weird fucking voice?
Yes.
I hope so.
All my favorite Del Toro roles involve him, which are just two. But in Guardians, as the Collector, he has that weird fucking accent.
Yeah.
And then in Snatch, he has that fucking Jewish, weird, like not even a good Jewish accent voice that he does. Fucking love it in both of those.
That's
though.
great.
We also had some pictures of Josh Brolin as Cable. What do you think of the photos?
It looks good. That's not my primary qualm. It looks like Cable, if you're into that sort of thing.
He definitely has an adequate amount of pouches.
Good God.
I was like, oh man, Kano's in this movie. That's great. That's great.
But I totally love it. Like I'm 100% expecting his backstory to be turned into a joke. Like I feel like it's inevitable that
they're totally self-aware enough to do that.
That he's gonna be like, well, who the fuck are you? Deadpool will be, and he'll be like, well, I'm the son of Scott Summers from the future, and like start to go into it, and Deadpool's just like,
oh god, fucking, I'm already bored. I'm already bored. Nobody cares. No, but this is important. Nope.
Okay, fine. We gotta save the future. Let's do it. If it'll shut you the fuck up. Yeah, and I'm sure he'll make fun of the pouches too, But there's similarities in their character designs. Like, you think Deadpool will add additional pouches when he sees how many Cable has?
I hope so.
Oh man, I should have more pouches. This guy.
No, we also got Netflix has some news this week. They purchased Millar World, which is the collective works of Mark Millar, or Miller. I guess I don't know why I pronounced it like that. But Mark Miller, Repertoire, or however you pronounced it. but he has cool works. Kick Ass is, I think, the one that most people know because of the movie and everything.
Yeah.
They've also, or things that he's also created include Nemesis, which, have you ever seen that, either of you?
No.
You may have seen artwork for it. There's one really famous cover. It's just a dude in like a stark all white outfit, and he has blood on his white gloves, and he's doing like the thing.
Oh, okay, I've seen
that.
that.
Blood smeared across his face.
Yeah.
It's Nemesis is kind of a really cool story that, like, I guess sort of the intent behind it is that we're not, I don't know, dude, it's kind of about terrorism, sort of. In at least the mindset of like making you aware of the fact that, like, to an extent it's okay that terrorism happens.
Okay.
Like, not that like it's morally okay, but that, like, dude, no matter what we do, it's always gonna happen to some extent. Like, people are gonna kill people no matter what.
Yeah.
Because society is just a set of constructs, and the people in charge of it are also like just a set of constructs. You know what I mean? And that shit can be disabled with enough work.
Yeah.
He's the character himself is like if Batman were evil. So like all the money in the world, and he's trained all over the world to be a supervillain.
Okay.
And
That's
like,
cool.
in a world where there aren't superheroes or supervillains. So he just targets this like chief of police and is like, I'm gonna go full supervillain on this random guy.
Huh.
And it involves like hijacking Air Force One and
That's escalated.
and like
Yeah, that for sure. Yes.
killing every single person in the Pentagon. Like he goes like full like global supervillain
Jesus Christ.
just to like completely destroy this one person's world, kidnapping his family members and fuck like that. And there's cool visuals. That stark white outfit, the beginning of the comic is just like pure complete white, and by the end of the series it's an entirely head to toe red outfit because it's been so soaked in blood.
Jesus.
It's incredibly graphically violent as well.
Well, I mean, that's coming from Kick-Ass, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Seeing those comics is whew.
that's one that I definitely hope we see. The other one is Superior, which is a story about a boy who has multiple sclerosis and gets a like a wish from a genie to become basically like Superman. And become a supervillain, and then it turns out that the genie is like a demon, and like his whole world gets totally fucked, and there's all kinds of crazy twists from there.
Gotcha.
But
Normally, if somebody acquired those rights, I would say, okay, well, we're gonna see Kick-Ass get, washed around. But with Netflix, they've seemed really keen on doing new things, throwing shit at the wall, and seeing what sticks. So
Yeah.
I feel like even though the most recognizable property is Kick-Ass, I feel like they won't do Kick-Ass, at least not first. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's room for kind of, because his comics, they get referred to as Miller World, but they're not really connected. They don't share like a universe. Like you know how Kick-Ass is set in like the real world with no superheroes and no supervillains.
Yeah.
Well, like so is Nemesis, but there's not even the Nemesis character.
they
There's
just
not even the Kick-Ass
they just
characters.
share themes well enough between one another.
Yeah, so I think it would be interesting though to see, like, I would totally want to see like Kick-Ass versus Nemesis.
Yeah,
and
that's something they could do now.
yeah. So to kind of actually make it a connected universe could be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Netflix also, Disney has announced that they're gonna in 2019, when their contract is up with Netflix, they're gonna start their own streaming channel and bring all of their content to it and remove it from Netflix. How much does that suck? Sucks a lot, right?
It sucks a lot. Right after, like, because those talks with Netflix took so long. It seemed like we had been hearing about it for years, almost.
Yeah.
Before it finally got nailed down a few months ago.
And, well, I mean, they've partnered with Netflix for a while now. Obviously, Disney and Netflix working together have brought us the Marvel Cinematic Netflix universe.
Yeah.
Which is some of the best TV on Netflix.
For sure. But it was still, like, the talks that I'm specifically talking about are, like, all
like
Disney
Disney
content.
movies.
Is going to be coming to. So I could. The rest of the news is that Netflix is trying to hold on to Star Wars and Marvel properties, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
You think that Disney should, for enough money, let it to be divided up like that?
Well, for me, what it looks like is Disney has their own streaming service that's very, very directed.
Yeah.
We've got the Disney Vault, and we've got all the new Pixar movies that are coming out, and this is the family subscription. So far, there's not been a family subscription plan for TV and movies. Now there is.
It would seem weird to have something like Jessica Jones, be on Disney's streaming service.
Exactly. So I think, honestly, that makes the most sense, but also as a consumer, that's really all I'm concerned with. Is the Marvel and Star Wars properties. Like, the rest of it, I can seek out in other means if I would like to. But I was talking to...
Are you talking about piracy?
No, I'm not talking about piracy. Definitely not. I would never do that.
I would never fucking do that.
And not just because Disney's the only company that I've ever gotten a cease and desist from. That's not the only reason. I can tell you that right now.
That's actually the only one, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the same instance?
was-
Dustin,
yes.
you're talking about, yeah, whenever Dustin downloaded the fucking Alice in
Didn't even
Wonderland.
download it. Downloaded half of it in Indiana. Came to Minnesota, finished it off on
Jesus.
our ISP.
And we didn't even know it, dude. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got the notice and we were like, Disney? Really? Oh, man. So what did we download? And then, like, well, who downloaded Alice in Wonderland?
I sure as fuck didn't
Well,
download.
neither did I. What the fuck? Yeah, thanks, Dustin.
But no, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Sean, who has a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how a subscription service, just to have all that stuff, he would get in a heartbeat. Him and his wife would totally throw down for that and be able to just put it on for their kids. That is the channel, the Disney movie and Disney TV show channel. So I think it makes good business sense on both sides if the talks as they currently
Yeah.
are attempting works out. But yeah, it is just a bummer. I don't know why they would go through the trouble of deciding this after the fact. I would like to have been a fly on the wall to see exactly what led them to that decision.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I forgot that the Netflix deal was only finalized a few months ago.
Yeah.
Because Rogue One was like the first movie,
Mhm.
because it's already up on Netflix, that was like kind of a part of that deal, right?
Yeah.
That is fucking weird. But
And Moana's up there now.
what is?
Moana.
I don't
Yeah, we
know.
haven't watched it.
Oh, it's a really good.
Oh, that's
New.
the one with the Rock's in that, right?
Yeah, The
Yeah.
Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't really watch Disney movies anymore, man.
No, I mean they're all good shit. Consistently. I don't know.
Even the Pixar ones at this point, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to watch any more Pixar movies. You know?
They're all
that weird?
they're all musicals, so they scratch that itch for me. I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
might
that's
be
true.
it.
That's true.
So
We also got some news about Mega City 1. So Mega City 1 is a television series that has finally officially been confirmed as in production, based on the property of Judge Dredd. I am super fucking pumped for it.
I can't believe it's getting made.
I know. And in like a television format, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stories that don't.
It gives them room to breathe and
Yes.
prioritize things that might be super interesting, but hit
Yes.
the cutting room floor for time. In a film setting.
It's that universe is a truly a very, very cool and interesting universe with a lot of cool ideas. And there's not enough time to explore those ideas in movie form.
Yeah.
Especially with like the original Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone. It was like, we don't get to explore hardly anything. Instead, this is a movie about Sylvester Stallone being the law.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I am the law. And,
And Carl Urban, the movie Dredd with Carl Urban, that's a fucking criminally underrated movie. That movie is so good. And it does give itself space to represent kind of that world better by focusing on just one aspect of it. It's one tower. But like the way Mega City 1 is constructed is I don't know, I guess you guys aren't super familiar with Judge Dredd, right?
no, I
No.
would say not.
Okay,
Uh-uh.
so it's like in the future, and basically the entire East Coast is a city, like from like above New York, even further north than New York, all the way down to like Virginia, is all one big city.
Okay.
And that's Mega City 1. And the whole world's like that. Basically, there's maybe a dozen mega cities across the world.
And that's where the entire population.
Yes.
Okay.
And everything else is like irradiated fucking wastelands.
Okay.
Not even necessarily radiated from like nuclear warfare, but also like just the way that overpopulation and urbanization has worked. Like they can't grow crops in the land anymore because they've grown too many crops. It's like been irrigated to death and like pesticided to death and just totally unlivable for the most part.
Gotcha.
And so people live in like these, like one city block is one solid building, and you can live your whole life in that building, like without ever even needing to leave it. Like
Okay.
everything that you would need is there. And then obviously the judges are like law enforcement, and the first movie didn't really get it right, because you get the idea, if that's all you're familiar with, they're judge, jury, and executioner, right? Like that's what your mindset is, and that's totally not it. Like they respond to crimes. They are the judge. They issue the sentence as they're making the arrest, but the sentence isn't always death. The reason that he does end up always killing people is because the sentence for attacking a judge definitely is death.
Yeah.
And they always choose to attack the judge. But a cool part of the character is, like, the few times that they don't do that, he's like, okay, and you're arrested, and you're not going to get hurt, and I'm not going to rough you up, and you're going to do your time, and you're going to get out, and I want you to be a good, productive member of society.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd is, like, totally not a fucking psychopathic, crazy fascist killer. He's like, this is a shitty world I live in, and I want to make it a better place, and I have the tools to do that. And you get that sense more with Karl Urban's character.
Okay.
He's in his movie, he's paired up with a rookie. It's like her first assignment, and they go into one of the citywide or city block buildings, and when they enter it, it gets locked down from the outside.
Okay.
And like this lady's in control of it, and she's trying to kill him and stuff, and so they have to fight their way out of the tower. But it's really fucking cool, and I don't know, man, exploring that world is really, really interesting. I think that it's one that a lot of people are aware of, but they haven't like read the comics or whatever, and they probably have a very skewed perspective of it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Karl Urban said he's willing to be in the show, and I think that's really cool too. I think that it'll not focus on specifically Judge Dredd, which is a lot of time what the comics do. They'll focus on like other ancillary characters and stuff like that. So I'm super, super fucking excited to see that play out. Also got some news on Hellboy. Did you guys like the Hellboy movies, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Those are some of the best fucking movies.
They are really good.
I'm really not excited about the reboot at all.
No.
Well, there's just so much that goes into why people like Hellboy.
Yeah.
Like with Ron fucking Perlman and Del Toro and
both of those things are being removed. It's
gonna be complete.
Well,
like you can't even
stop.
expect anything similar. We have no idea what to expect. And for me personally, it's not Hellboy the character that held me down. It's not the universe surrounding it, while it is cool.
Yeah.
That held me down. It was that cinematography, the direction, and the portrayal.
Yeah.
Is really what made it great to me.
So I mean, like Del Toro and Ron Perlman is what made those movies great.
Yes, absolutely. I can pinpoint
the
it.
Connection of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the world as much as it was Del Toro's depiction of that world, because he's very much a proven director as far as being able to portray something that's sort of like a I don't know, man, like a darker fairy tale kind of world.
That's really good.
Like, like to a T, that is what Hellboy's world is like.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a perfect pairing. I don't know. I mean, I want it to be really good. The guy who's playing Hellboy is what's his name? Is it David Harbour? The guy who played the sheriff in Stranger Things?
Now, I really like him. I've seen him in a few other things, and he's good.
He is really good. Do you think he can one up or be as good as Ron Perlman?
I think. I mean, I'm gonna give him a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a feather in the cap. I think, in favor of this could be quality. This could be good in its own way. I don't think it's gonna be the same. I think people are gonna have to come to it with an open mind for sure. And not expect Ron Perlman.
Yeah, but apparently Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, was not super happy with the Del Toro movies. And he had a lot of control over those movies. He was there like every day during filming and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and he said that he thinks that was a mistake on his part and why the movies weren't good. He doesn't think that they're very good movies.
Okay.
And so he's stepping back. He's not going to be as involved in this movie in hopes of it being a better movie in his mind. But that just seems so weird to wrap my head around, that like the creator who made it was super involved with it, and wasn't happy with the end result, even though, I mean, I think at least the first Hellboy movie is pretty universally regarded as like a good fucking movie, right?
Yeah.
And then to think, well, the solution is for me to not be involved. I don't know. That just seems really
No,
fucking
yeah,
weird.
I can't figure out where that's coming from.
It's apparently it's
Because
supposed to be...
I didn't know he had a bunch of control over it, because I had heard that he didn't like it, but in my head I was like, well, Stephen King didn't like Kubrick's Shining,
right,
and he can fuck off with that. So
yeah, I don't know. They've said that this is going to be like a bloodier, darker movie. I don't know. They use all those buzzwords, and I'm like, I don't know if that's.
I don't think you can even tell, though. No, I mean, but who's to say whose version of dark and bloody? And, like, there are so many different variables that could be applied to those buzzwords at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that Batman versus Superman is dark and bloody, and The Dark Knight is dark and bloody, and those movies aesthetically are, even though they're both dark and gritty, they're completely different experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I don't know. I do hope it's good. I think it's also supposed to focus more on Hellboy and not on the BRPD, like the organization that he is a part of.
yeah,
Which I guess that I think that's the only bit of good news that I've heard about it. Like I can see that being an okay idea. The movies do kind of they introduce you to a lot of characters at once,
mm-hmm.
and they just are you're just kind of thrust into that world. And if like you don't get it, I can. It's like, who's this girl that can control fire, and this guy who's just a regular guy.
They are there,
and this old scientist, and this man named after Abraham Lincoln who lives in water tank. Like, you know, there is a lot going on. So it'd be cool to focus on Hellboy's origins, because the one weakness of the first movie, I think, is that the end sequence is too short. The end being whenever he becomes I can't remember the comics term for his like destined form. I think it's like the Hand of Destiny or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
when his horns grow back out,
Yeah,
and he has the flaming crown above his head, and he's supposed to be like the demon that brings about the destruction of Earth.
yeah,
And I guess if it focuses more on how like that destiny haunts him, then that's cool. You know what I mean? You kind of, I feel like the movie didn't do maybe as good of a job as it could have as making you care about the character because of his growth. That it was more like they took the route of like, they just kept throwing his like quirks at you from the comics. It's
Yeah.
like, he's a big demon guy, but he loves smoking cigars.
yeah.
And like, here he is, he loves kitties. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, that's not
Yeah.
character development. Yeah, those things are true things about him, but
He's wacky.
we also got some cool game news this week. Well, the past 2 weeks, really. Sonic Mania came out.
It is a smashing success.
Fucking genius idea. Let more fans just completely make games, apparently.
Yeah.
It's been regarded as the best Sonic game in 15 years.
The Sonic team's been trolling Ego Raptor on Twitter this week.
How so?
Game Grumps is doing a playthrough, and Aaron loves it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they're just like, because you know, Ego Raptor's Sonic hate is a meme at this point.
Oh, yeah. The Sonic 06 Game Grumps is peak Game Grumps, dude.
Absolutely. But
Gotta draw a line in the sand, man.
But they've gone through and done plenty of other Sonic. I think their Sonic content is some of the best, because that's like Sonic in the Black Knight. They do Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty cool seeing the internet's reactions, and it appears the Sonic team's initial like very cautious, hey, we think you guys will like this, and as the week has gone by, they've just dove right into it. Like, yes, this is huge. This is good. We know this is good, and now we're gonna fucking roll around in it, and enjoy it. So I hope more of the same comes from them. I hope Sonic Mania 2 gets locked in next week.
I guarantee you that the people responsible for it already, because of the success, have something. What I'm afraid is they're like, okay, you guys did really good. Now you're gonna make a fucking 3D Sonic game, and you're gonna figure out how to make it good. But maybe they can. I don't know. Maybe they're the guys to unlock the secrets.
It's just a reskin of Mario 64.
Yeah. I was thinking Sonic 06 too.
Call it Sonic 06 too? Even though For those who are uninitiated, that's not even the name of the game. It's just Sonic the Hedgehog.
But it was released in 2006. Also, No Man's Sky, dude, got its big 1.3 Atlas update.
The No
It's
Man's
so much
Sky
better.
update.
Shot through the roof. Yeah, right? No Man's Sky. Patch notes. We added No Man's Sky.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much better. It's so much better. It's so good.
Yeah, Jeff was telling me about the Steam reviews that the overall ones are still overwhelmingly negative, but the ones recently are getting really good, good reviews.
Yeah, tons of people are liking it. It was it shot up to the Steam bestseller. It was one of the most played games on Steam.
Oh, that's really great. That's really great.
I mean,
I think that like
I was skeptical.
Yeah, well,
that it was ever going to be
good. We never played
good.
the previous two updates, so we never did play with the base building update and with like the vehicle updates.
Did you guys only ever play launch, like the launch build?
Yep. Because I was just like, I was so salty that I was like, no, not gonna do it, not gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean it was weird.
But then I did it.
My reaction to the game wasn't as like viscerally against it as a lot of people's was when it came out. Like,
I can agree to that.
I mean, I played it for like 30 some hours. Like, that's a lot of time to put into a game. Yeah, and I enjoyed those 30 hours, but like over the course of those 30 hours, I just realized that like
you're doing the same thing over and over.
I had already done
again.
everything that there is to do in the game in the first like 5 hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I was just repeating it forever. And there was no end and no point. So no, it's cool for them to add all that content. I think the coolest thing about it is just that they did it. I mean, that they've made their money. You know, this isn't DLC that they're selling, and the game's not in early access. They delivered what was sold as a finished product. And as developers, they could have taken the money and run. And instead, they've spent the next year still delivering huge amounts of content.
Yeah, it's clearly their baby.
I think that it's them trying to prove that, like, hey, as developers, please trust us and like us.
Yeah, I'm really good at game developing, little girl.
Yeah, we'll never let Sony be in charge of advertising again, I promise.
We're sorry.
I promise you that. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
We also got a dope-ass new trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Dang old space action, guys.
Can I anticipate this game anymore at this point?
I know, dude. The trailer did look so fucking good. They like ships, like capital ships crashing into each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I'm thinking is like, ooh, that better be in the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, that shit does not happen in the goddamn game. I'm gonna be real fucking salty. But, I mean, shit, dude. I've never wanted to fly around in a Jedi starfighter as Yoda.
I still don't, but I'll suspend my disbelief for long enough to.
That was the only thing that I was like, really? Yoda's the one in there? Like, if we have just space modes, give us Plo Koon. He's the best pilot. I know not everybody knows that, but he's the best aside from Anakin.
That's not canon anymore. Okay, none of it is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just kidding.
Well, he was in Clone Wars.
You didn't get the joke. It's fine.
What do you mean?
I didn't realize he was in Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah. No, he totally is in Clone Wars.
Didn't watch Clone Wars, yeah.
Shows his piloting expertise.
Okay, well, never mind then.
It's like partially where Anakin learns to be an even better pilot than he is naturally.
Oh, okay.
But what?
Nothing.
But yeah, I think it's a
nothing.
I think it's a cool looking fucking game, and I'm excited now that the beta has whatever they had, Galactic Space Conquest.
Galactic Conquest.
It's not Galactic that's the old game type. What did they say it was? They announced that it's going to have that game type. They didn't explain what it was, but it definitely had space in the name.
Yeah,
which
I can't
led
remember.
us to believe that it was going to be space battles.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's what this trailer is
Oh,
acknowledging.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that'll be fucking cool to play. Now, you've been playing some Slum Rancher.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's really fun. But I really like simple games.
I mean, is it a simple game? It seems like there was
there are a whole lot of things to it, but basically you're putting slimes into corrals and feeding them.
Well, watching you play,
sell their poop.
I was noticing
you sell the poop.
I was noticing that they did some cool gameplay things, like where you didn't know that you needed to upgrade the pins to make them taller.
Yeah,
Didn't
no, I
find
had
that
no
out
idea.
until the slime started getting out of
Yeah,
your pen. Like,
And eating my chickens.
it's like a cool way
Mm.
of showing and not telling. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
weren't like, make sure you purchase upgrades so that your slimes don't get out of the pen.
No,
You were
that
just
didn't
like,
mention upgrades at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
You're-
What are you doing?
just seeing fucking
Guys, stop
slimes
it.
running rampant and trying to take care of them. It does look like a cute game. I like watching you play it, but I'm not. I don't know. Usually a fan of the farming games. As we have talked with you guys before, when I
Yeah.
played Harvest Moon.
You just go to
Well,
the
even for
tavern
me,
and
it's got to
drink
have a
until you
certain coat of
lose.
paint. Like I was
Until
watching.
you win.
Well, okay,
There's no
that's
winning
fair.
or losing. If you drink every night in the Super Nintendo Harvest Moon, you get to the end of the game the fastest because it makes you black out. So the days go by quicker. And then you win the game, man. That's a victory. That's one way to beat it, right? I mean, am I wrong?
Yes, because the whole idea is that your
whatever.
grandfather entrusted you with this property, and you're supposed to fucking take care of it.
Maybe that's not the character I play. Maybe the character I play didn't even fucking want the property, didn't even like his grandpa, but you know what I mean? Like, he's just trying to deal with some shit.
Yeah. So he's gonna wait it out on that couple of acres that old fucking racist fart gave to him, and
Exactly.
drink his days away in that shitty ass small town.
Yep.
He got a crush on that girl with the pink hair though. But she's a goody, works at the flower shop. She spends too much time with her mom. Sorry, I've played a shit ton of Harvest Moon.
I always liked the girl with the purple hair. Oh, maybe she has black hair.
I don't even
Yeah, there's a
remember
girl
the girls.
with the black hair. The recent
She
ones,
was always
like
so hateful.
I stopped playing on GameCube once.
Oh, you're wrong.
You see, that's what I was gonna say. My farming games, they need to have a coat of paint. That's why I still play Stardew Valley. I've got hundreds of hours in Stardew Valley because like that is exactly the coat of paint that I want.
Like, even
Yeah.
like that graphical aesthetic.
Yes,
That's fair.
I get that for sure. I mean, Stardew Valley isn't even as gorgeous looking as the Super Nintendo Harvest Moon. I don't like.
you still hold that kind of deer, like or
There's the color palette for Harvest Moon is like super subdued.
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
sort of like pastel-y, whereas Stardew Valley is a lot more vibrant.
no, it's very bright, very bright.
So I don't know. I fucking love that pixel artwork. But anyways, well, I also got some news. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is in development, guys.
Here's the coolest part about that is how many times have you seen Ewan McGregor, even just on Twitter, like not even in an interview,
Yeah.
which he does a lot, but just on Twitter, like, hey, just letting everybody know I still would totally want to play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I would
Just
do it.
telling the world I would do that.
Yeah, I'll do it if anybody asks. Yeah,
If you're
down.
talking to anybody, I'm available, which I think is totally cool, and I don't think they would greenlight it without
having him be.
Yeah, I
Obi-Wan.
mean, come on, what are you gonna do? He's one of the few people who, like,
For the most part, everybody regards him as basically the best part about the prequels.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ewan McGregor did just fine.
and he's
Yeah.
also in a place where he could play Obi-Wan Kenobi at a lot of different periods of time.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of empty space there that Ewan McGregor could come in and tell a story with.
Yeah, for sure. And he looks, I mean, obviously he was Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels, the actor Ewan McGregor, so he still resembles younger Ewan McGregor, but he also legitimately, as he's gotten older,
Has
resembles Alec Guinness.
grown to
more
look-
and more.
yeah.
Like, so no, I agree 100%. Like, if he's playing in between, you know, Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness, he still looks like that.
Yeah.
Just as older Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think is like, I don't know that an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is necessary at all. You know, I think that there's probably better movies or better ideas that they could tell if they wanted to, if they were willing to get away from the already established characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
and not
one
even
could
something like
argue.
Rogue One.
I
Like,
was going
Rogue
to
One
say
was still tied to like events and to an extent characters.
it was things we were familiar enough
Yeah.
with.
I realize that they aren't willing to take this risk yet, but like, I mean, as a big Star Wars fan, I'm willing for them to be like, we're doing a movie about whole new guy, not attached to, doesn't know anybody, never even met him, okay? Not
Yeah.
even once in his life. And he's just like a cool fucking smuggler, and he's teamed up with this bounty hunter, and like, let's watch their space adventures. I'd be like, hell yeah,
It has
sign me up.
nothing to do with space politics. Like,
Exactly. I'd be like, yeah, sign me up, man. Like,
Yeah.
what era is it in? I don't care. I'll watch it anyway. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
But it sucks that I feel like they're limited in what story they can tell with Obi-Wan Kenobi, assuming that they do in between the prequels and A New Hope, which is kind of all that they can do.
Yeah.
I don't think that he can play younger than he was in Phantom Menace.
No.
So it's not like we're gonna get like Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi's adventure.
No.
So it's for sure gonna be him on Tatooine, and there's just like we get another fucking movie set entirely on a desert planet. You know, I guess that's my biggest. It's like, yeah, I do want to see Ewan McGregor reprise that role, but god damn it, dude.
You don't think that there's any room possibly for him to be called off of Tatooine for some sort of thing?
No, I really don't think that there is. I think it's made 100% clear, even in Rebels, which is canon. Rebels sealed the deal because they were like, yo, the fucking Empire, we're uniting finally. We're forming a rebellion against the Empire.
But he's got a mission.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit about the rebellion at all.
You're right.
I just only care about Luke.
Yeah.
And so, no, I definitely...
Yeah, fucking Sand Planet again. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think that if they do go that route, then they would be undermining their own newly established canon, so...
That's been the only trouble I have with it, is that I'll accept anything they throw at me, but what exactly do they have to throw at me?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be him... Everybody's throwing around the idea, and it's the best idea, of doing it in the style of, like, the old spaghetti westerns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is trying to go unnoticed, you know, just living in the desert, but he does have to go into the city occasionally to get stuff.
Yeah.
Like, get unwillingly pulled into trying to save somebody from somebody. You know what I mean? Like, saving some poor old kid from Jabba's thugs.
Kid.
I don't know, whatever. Poor old lady and her son. I mean, it could be whoever, you know what I mean? Have you ever seen a spaghetti western? It's just a random stranger in need of some assistance.
But I've never seen a poor old kid.
Like, it can... whatever, man. Fuck you.
Oh, you got him tripped up.
You know what I'm saying, though, right?
I know what you're saying. Don't worry, boo-boo, I got you.
I think that's the only story that they could even possibly tell. If some fucking Sith show up, like, no, absolutely not.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is like, they're going to throw something.
Darth Maul's dead.
They can't help themselves.
Clearly,
No, he's
Darth...
not.
He is.
Is Darth Maul dead then?
Yes, he killed... Obi-Wan Kenobi killed him.
No,
in
it
Rebels.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he was dead then, because they show us in Rebels that that was the moment that Darth Maul came back to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan killed him.
So so they couldn't even be like, well, but prior to that, they had another fight. You're right, because no, he never found out Obi-Wan's location.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, he came back and he killed him. So, I mean, unless they want to show that, but in a live-action movie, which
isn't the worst idea.
I'm totally down with that. But they better not turn that last fight into some big 20-minute long action sequence, because they handled it so fucking well.
Is it inappropriate to say that I got rock hard? Like...
during their fucking...
Oh, yeah. It moved the needle for me, man.
3-move fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was great.
No, for real.
It was great.
It was absolutely fucking perfect. We also got Doomfist. Doomfist was nerfed already, and you think that that's a good idea?
I think it was necessary, man.
No.
Like, the evidence that's been presented, I haven't seen... Was it on the PTR?
Yeah.
I haven't seen his new hitbox.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that Blizzard did the thing that they do often over the span of all their properties, which is to nerf something a little far and then tweak it from there. I could give you that because I haven't seen the nerf. But pre-nerf, when it came out of PTR and went live, his hitbox was 3 times the size of his character. Like, there are YouTube videos that you can watch, multiple examples of it, to where you know it's not just your computer lagging behind the servers. Like, where he hits a tracer who's standing an entire car length to his left, but he manages to hit it anyway. It's a problem.
No, I don't know, man. I think that it's... I don't think that that's... If they're going to reduce his hitbox like that, because he's such a high skill character, that's
very true.
He's not good.
But that's not a
Like,
high skill ability.
by and large. I think that is a high skill ability.
I think that's
it's a one hit kill only if you have them lined up correctly to collide with a
Exactly.
wall behind them.
Exactly.
as someone who's a low skill Doomfist player. When I've played Doomfist, it's exceedingly easy for me to do.
It's exceedingly easy for you to get kills, but it's also, is it not exceedingly easy for you to get killed? But what I see from like most Doomfist players is that they trade one for one. They get in there, they get a quote unquote bullshit kill, and then they get killed. That's not productive. That's not helping the team. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right,
not,
but
that means that they're bad and that character is bad in that instance.
But you've got a balance for all types. So you put that, you get someone who can't play Doomfist who gets that 1-for-1.
Right.
You put that same Doomfist in the hands of a high skill player, and they can get away with some bullshit.
I don't think that they get away with bullshit. We've played one match in competitive that I can think of that had a Doomfist that was a problem. Do you remember even what I'm specifically talking about?
Yeah.
When we got absolutely steamrolled.
I mean, yeah,
And it was
he was a
largely
real
because-
fucking problem, but
Yeah. But he was he
it's-
was clearly incredibly skilled with the character, as I think
and
is
he
the intent
also
of the character.
targeted his opponents correctly.
Yes,
he was going for me
he would
and
not let us group up.
the other healer.
He was taking both healers out first and then working his way strategically through DPS and then not bothering with the tanks.
Sure.
Like, I mean, this dude was really, really good, and that's with hundreds of matches that I've played, where literally any other time when somebody picks a Doomfist, it's a joke in chat where we're like, oh, good, they got a Doomfist. Glad it's going to be 6v5.
Sure, yeah, I understand that, but so you're what you guys are saying is that a problem didn't exist. That
Yes.
they nerfed a problem that
Yeah.
didn't exist.
Yeah.
I disagree.
If a character is so weak that he's laughed about and regarded as, like I said, people in chat being like, oh, it's going to be 6v5, great. Because you don't even regard him as existing.
They don't
But I
even
don't think
regard
that
him as
character is
existing
OP or
because
has anything wrong with them.
there are so many variables in this scenario that you're presenting, but you're taking it all as the universal fact. Like, he's not always laughed at. In the hands of anyone remotely, what were you playing? QP?
No, we were playing competitive.
You were playing comp.
It's pretty much all we play now.
Okay. So, depending on where you are
Mm-hmm.
with your SR and your internal MMR, you get set up with people who probably are, what are you, like silver or gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost to gold, yeah.
Okay. So you're going to get a majority of people who don't play all the fucking time,
Right.
who probably play new characters even less. So the Doomfists you've been playing in comp, and especially since he just got unlocked in comp a couple weeks ago, have been people who are trying their hand at comp Doomfists for the first couple of hours of their Overwatch careers with Doomfist. So I don't believe that your sample size is accurate because, like I said before, they have to balance for everything, and your results may vary.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't give a shit about Doomfist. I never play him, so it's cool that he can hit me less now. I don't know.
I think that if they're gonna do that, then they should bring back the insane mobility that he had.
Yeah.
Or bring back the extended range of the rocket punch.
Okay.
I think that.
Well, Blizzard is no stranger to.
I don't think he needed nerfed. I think he needed maybe rebalanced then.
Okay.
If people deem that to be a problem, you know what I'm saying?
That there are
So,
other
like,
ways to take care of it than just let's
Yeah.
make this ability not usable.
Yeah, reduce the
Exactly.
hitbox, give him something else back.
Yeah, well, the way you're describing it to me, again, I haven't seen the nerf, but it sounds like the hook nerf.
Yeah,
all those-
exactly that. Yeah.
Drastically smaller. The hitbox is now the size of his fist.
Well, what I'm talking about is just the most recent hook nerf, where Roadhog went from being a very good force to be reckoned with to being one of the least played heroes in the entire fucking game.
Because Doomfist currently is one of the most worthless, like, statistically, because they post this shit on Reddit, like, you can see, and Jeff Kaplan releases information on, like, universal pick rates, win rates, etc.
Yeah.
He's in the 2 weeks he's been out, he's, like, the worst fucking character.
Yeah.
Like, does the least amount of damage, the least amount of victories, has the highest loss ratio, is picked the least. And that's with him being supposedly OP because of that hitbox.
Well, I mean,
so it does sound like the Roadhog thing in that, like, because it happens one time, you get it, someone gets killed, and they're like, shit, that felt to me like a bullshit kill. I'm going to record this and put it on YouTube. And then everybody else can be like, yeah, this is bullshit. This character's overpowered.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at the overall picture, which is provably they are not overpowered because they are winning or they are losing 75% of the games that they are in. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I still think those stats are skewed because of how new of a character he is. I don't think you can get of course his loss rate's going to be huge. Of course his pick rate's going to be down. Like, he's brand new.
Because people aren't familiar with him.
Because people aren't familiar with him, or that people are just moving past. Like me, I have very little interest in learning another DPS character. I feel like I'm proficient enough in enough damage characters to where I don't even need to worry about it. So the few times that I have picked Doomfist on a lark have been losses because it's like, yeah, let's fuck around. But no, I think it's a combination of relative skill with Doomfist, especially since he doesn't play remotely close to any of the other heroes.
He's a very different style for sure. I don't know.
But in any case...
I think it was too soon, if nothing else.
Welcome to Doomfist Freakout.
Yeah.
Right.
We also got, I think the last thing we were going to talk about, Kilgrave being back in Jessica Jones Season 2, which is now filming. And David Tennant is on set as Kilgrave, who was killed at the end of the first season. What's going on there?
May.
I really hope he's back in a capacity other than like
flashbacks.
I don't think it's flashbacks.
I really hope
the most
not.
conventional wisdom is that PTSD doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, when we came into the first season, it was Jessica like, no, he's still around. And her friends were like, no, he's dead. I'm wondering if they're going to flip that on its head and she thinks he's still around because she still sees him. But this time he's really gone and she's dealing with how does she rid that specter from her life. I think conventional wisdom says that that's probably where it goes. In my heart of hearts, I want David Tennant to be alive in every season of Jessica Jones that comes out because I'm so scared that he was half of the magic of what made that my favorite Netflix Marvel series.
Yeah. He was really good. I mean, I was talking to Justin about this earlier today too. He's I think maybe top 3 best villains in anything in the Marvel cinematic anything.
Oh yeah.
I think I put him just below Loki and Kingpin.
Yeah. I would put him above Kingpin, to be completely honest with you. As much as I love Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal, I think Kilgrave represents such a basic fear and such a basic.
Oh, he's scarier than Kingpin. I don't think he's a better villain because I think that.
I feel like Kingpin has more to him, like more.
He has more dimensions to him.
Oh, for sure, I mean? For sure. I mean, that was kind of his point of the character Kilgrave is that you find out that all of this basically is
he's just a spoiled fucking child.
A spoiled fucking child extrapolated exponentially.
Sure. Yeah. But in the set photos that have come out. It specifically shows David, like in the scenes that they're filming, David Tennant standing directly behind Jessica Jones, like shouting over her shoulder, like looking where she's looking and shouting.
Yeah.
Which lends me to believe, kind of like what you were saying, that it's like in her head.
Yeah.
Right? Like yelling things in her ear or whatever, or like that she's worried that her interactions aren't her own, but like she's still under his control somehow.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is there is one scene or one photo where she's standing there, not talking, like her mouth's closed at least. David Tennant is way off to the side of her, screaming, and in between them, looking at David Tennant, is Malcolm with like his hands over his ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So
it seems like Malcolm is able to see him.
He's a tangible Kilgrave. So
maybe they do something weird where she is like again thinking she's still under control and almost like she suffers I guess almost like some sort of like split personality in a way, and the purple man is her other personality. Like, not that like that is really what's happening, but like that she becomes worried that that's happening, right? So you can see how they could film it in a way where like Malcolm says something and she reacts and like she overreacts and says something mean back to him. And the way she sees it is as David Tennant saying that to her, or saying that to Malcolm, even though the words are actually coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And she can't figure out why she's acting that way, and she's worried that it's some level of control that he still has over her.
Yeah. I think all of those are they could do a lot of really great narrative stuff. But
I just really hope that that he's not actually back alive.
You see, I loved him so
though.
much that I'd be willing to take that bullshit cop-out bullshit to have
that would
Kilgrave
suck.
Well, I mean,
back.
they thought he
That
was
was-
dead before.
Yeah, but I mean, she fucking broke it. She killed him with her bare hands.
I understand that.
I feel like to bring him back would do a huge disservice to the entire point of the first season.
get
I don't
that.
know if I've seen-
I really love him too.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a
did so
television
good.
show that made me feel this way. That when it ended and I was like, spending the next couple of weeks kind of digesting it and remembering it and rewatching the parts that I really, really liked and stuff, I still find myself like actually almost anxious about the prospect that all of the magic without David Tennant's performance is going to feel like there's just a gigantic hole. That his portrayal was so good.
Yeah.
There was a similar effect in The Dark Knight Rises, but I think Jessica Jones season 2 is going to be a good television season regardless, and I don't think The Dark Knight Rises was a good movie, even if, you add Heath Ledger's performance into the third
I
movie
see
or
what you're
whatever.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just adding him on top of that wouldn't have made
It would
that
still
movie
not be a good movie, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out whenever. When is it? Is it next year?
It's 2018.
Have they released?
I don't know the
The date for it
specific
at all?
date, but when it got renewed, they specifically stated
Yeah.
it would be 2018, and everybody thought it was bullshit. But it turns out it's because The Defenders was on their schedule. So
Oh yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
Well, it's cool that we're finally here.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Defenders is here. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about like what they expect from Netflix moving forward, and I did see what's his name, Jeff Loeb, I think, something Loeb.
Lisa Loeb.
No, it's a guy. It's the dude. It's it's like the Kevin Feige
Yeah.
of the TV universe. He had said that The Defenders is the end of Phase 1. He used like the terminology
That they use for the movies. Yeah.
and that we'll be starting Phase 2 with the introduction of new characters, including the Punisher.
Cool.
Which new characters, including the Punisher, seems to hint that maybe like they will get some new properties, because that's kind of like the weirdest thing is that it's like, are you just gonna keep just these 4 guys over and over?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Because
more
the
you can do.
Avengers, they were already, even at the end of the first Avengers movie, they were setting up like this could be a living, fluid group. Like,
Right. And the most requested thing that I've seen all over Reddit, and like anytime there's a comments thing, anything, is always like, okay, give us fucking Moon Knight, dude. Do fucking
would fit
Moon Knight.
so well.
It really fucking would. So I really hope that we get that. I mean, that they just like throw the fans a bone, or like, fucking okay, man, we're gonna do Moon Knight. But
I don't. They've got to be looking for any way they can kick off Iron Fist, right? Like they've got to be figuring out something they can do with that.
yeah, well, I mean, give him a costume and make him not Finn Jones. I don't know. It is maybe the best solution.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is that like if they need somebody to die, it's gonna be Danny Rand.
I sure fucking hope so. Yeah.
We're gonna do Defenders next weekend once we're all caught up on it, and I'm throwing out my prediction right now. Danny Rand dies at the end of the Defenders.
Yeah, we want to make sure that everybody has time to watch it. So make sure you do watch it before next week's podcast, because we'll spoil the fuck out of Defenders.
Every single fucking bit of the Danny Rand murder.
But this week we have some bad movies to talk about instead of bad Iron Fists. That was a bad segment, right?
Yeah, that wasn't a good joke.
We have
You really tried, but
movies so bad they're good, just like my segues. They're so bad.
It's so bad that they're good. Just like our podcast is so bad that it's good.
Let's start off with Wild Wild West.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay. So, Wild Wild West is not a good movie, but it is a great experience.
I I kind of like that movie because it is very bad.
Like,
And I like that's one of the movies that I've watched the most.
But is the
That's a
only
fact.
here's the thing, man. We got a steampunk Wild West movie,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody seems to realize it.
Yeah, that's true. This I mean, the steampunk stuff was cool, but did it go too far with the giant
Yes.
robot?
Yeah, it did.
What do you mean? Did it go too far with the giant?
You can never go too far. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it came out of fucking nowhere. I'm saying that it made little to no narrative sense. I'm saying that it makes absolutely no logical sense to have a walking contraption that large with as few weapons on it as it did. But that's steampunk. That's the whole point. Is that you could, it would be so much simpler if you did it like this, but then it wouldn't look so damn impressive. Like, even that guy's fucking wheelchair was
Yeah.
steampunk.
Well, no, his wheelchair had like little spider legs on it.
At
right?
the end, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
myself am also a spider.
And no, I mean, I guess you're right, dude. That movie is totally an entertaining, fun to watch fucking movie. Will Smith is hilarious as always.
It was the first time as a kid, because I was very young when that came out, but I saw it as soon as it came out. It was the first time that I had encountered like a semi-historic, like a period piece, I guess we could call it a period piece.
Yeah.
But I remember all of the back and forth between Will Smith and all of the fucking, like, white people.
Yeah.
There are so many quips about race in that movie that really speak a lot to how I started to think about race.
The bad guy was like a former Confederate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. And he wanted to. What was the plot? Was he trying to stop them from joining the railroads? Did the railroads have something to do with it?
Yeah,
I
well,
think
it was
so. I
it
don't
was
remember.
it was the completion of the first great
Yeah.
coast to coast railroad. Yeah, I think that was just the backdrop. It wasn't that was his intention. He wanted essentially to destroy the state as it stood and allow the South or his ideals to rise again in the form of just taking out all of the leadership that happened to exist in America at the time.
Oh,
And
he was gonna like kill the president because
Yeah.
the president was at when they drove the golden spike into the transatlantic.
it was President Grant and his
Okay.
cabinet was there, and
That's right. I think that's the first time as a kid I ever heard anybody utter the phrase "the South will rise again." He totally does say that, right?
Yes.
And his
Yeah.
like fucking robot wheelchair rises up as he says it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my fucking god, dude. Yeah, and that had
Don't
those,
don't even
that had
act
this
like you
scene
don't
where
like
they,
it.
I love this right now.
They attached those things to their necks.
Yes, yes.
And they were like those fucking discs.
It was
Yes!
a-
Oh
were
my God,
zooming
yeah.
through
With
the air.
spiders on them.
Yes.
They were like attracted to the thing to cut off their heads. Yeah, no, that had some cool. That was a cool action sequence.
Yeah.
No, that's a good.
And
movie.
then they get stuck together at the magnetic collar.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
And then
right.
it's wacky because
Oh,
they
man.
don't like each other.
That's right.
I do totally love that movie.
And then
Like a lot.
Salma Hayek doing that thing that she did in the 90s where she was the hot lady.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about Selma Hayek. What else was she in? Was she in one of the Zorros?
Yes, she was in Mask of Zorro. She was in Dogma. She was the hot lady in Dogma.
Yeah, she
She
was
was
in
the
one of
muse.
the series of what was it Robert Rodriguez Western movies like Desperado and the what's the term for when they do the music, Spencer? God damn it.
What's the term for when they do the
When-
music?
It's like the with the Mexican band. What's that called when you're in a traditional old timey?
Is it a mariachi band?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
El Mariachi is the name of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
She's in one of those. I don't know. I digress. Are we done talking about Wild Wild West?
No, we're not, and I'll tell you why, man.
Okay.
Because that movie it has some of the greatest pseudoscience that existed in 90s movies. Do you remember And I'll just bring up one thing and then we can move on to a different movie. But one of the very first plot points is that they get a dead man's head, put a light bulb in it, and project the last thing his retinas.
Oh my god! Oh, I forgot about that.
I do love some old timey fake science.
And then they have to turn his head upside down because that's
your brain flips the image.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
And it was the funniest thing in the world as a kid because the Will Smith does his Will Smith I've had enough of this shit reaction that we all know and love where
Then it works.
well no because I forget the actor's name who plays the agent opposite him, the straight man.
Yeah.
But he's explaining the science, and he does it in 3 statements, and in between each of those 3 statements, you get varying cadences of Will Smith just saying, "That is a man's head. That is a man's head." You know, and it's just, it's peak Will Smith, man. Like, I don't know. I love that movie, and you all can go fuck yourselves out there.
It was like
I'm over
right
here
after Men
saying
in
that
Black.
I love
right?
it too.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, you're right. That is peak Will Smith for sure. Well, I would say right after peak Will Smith. I think Men in Black is peak Will Smith.
I make this look good. Yeah, Men in Black isn't on this list probably because it is a good movie, and
Yeah,
no one
everybody knows
considers
that's,
it
like, the
bad.
best fucking
No
movie.
one.
Well, I got one.
Oh.
What one are you looking
I
at?
just
We'll
thought
bring
of
that one
another
up.
movie.
Okay, you go. Yeah, what one did you just think of?
I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one with the Riddler, the Batman one with the
Batman
Riddler.
Forever.
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
Dude, I love that movie.
I have the Joel Schumacher Batman movies on here, yeah.
Oh.
Batman and Robin is what I have written down, but yeah, both Joel Schumacher movies.
Dude,
Well, they're the
that
exact
was a
same
fucking
movie, so
Right.
Riddler carry, man.
Well, so okay, I did want to talk about that. So let's talk about
let's hash this out.
really, really bad movies that have like something really good about them. And I think that's the perfect example. Jim Carrey's version of the Riddler is
It's
really
amazing.
good. It goes off the rails at the very end when he absorbs all the
that's
information
fair.
into his brain.
Yeah,
like,
that is
that's
a little bit dumb, but the rest of that movie is
establishing his
good
origin.
because of
Like the
him.
beginning of that movie where they establish his origin is so fucking good, spot on. I loved it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where he like pushes the dude out of the fucking window tied to the chair.
Yeah.
And he has like the old yes or no machine that's dressed up like the classic Riddler. And he plays the quirks and everything so well. Like it was a really oddly well realized take on the Joker.
The Riddler.
On the Riddler in a series of 2 movies where everything else is just a fucking neon shit show.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He seriously like I said carried that movie.
He
That
did.
movie is
Jim Carrey's good acting is what makes that movie watchable. Likewise, Batman and Robin is watchable because it is just so bad.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a definite difference there, even though everything else is pretty much the same in those movies. They are, like you said, they're pretty much the same movie. But some other ones that I wrote for one specifically I wanted to bring down for that reason is The Matrix 3.
Really?
So it's universally regarded as a terrible movie. Because
Yeah.
it is a terrible movie.
Because
Probably
it
not
is
as much as the
very
second
bad.
one, but yeah.
No. People hate it. Matrix 3 is way worse than the second one.
You think so?
The second one, I'm
Is that conventional wisdom? Because I disagree.
I believe so, because at least the Matrix 2 had like name me one really cool action sequence out of the Matrix 3. Whereas if the Matrix 2, the plot, nobody remembers anything about it. But you do remember, well, the fucking badass scene on the highway. That is a cool fucking car chase.
Yeah.
And when and you finally get
And the scene leading up to that.
Yeah.
With Neo versus the twins.
Yeah. That whole in the Maravangian's mansion or whatever, and you finally get to see Morpheus fight
That's true.
during the highway sequence when he fucking slices that car with his sword and flips it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Name me something that was like actually cool for Matrix 3. Matrix 3 is the one that had Neo fighting 100 fucking Agent Smiths.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
you're right.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's universally regarded as even worse than the second one. But the thing that I really like about it and I'm gonna do a bit. We're gonna come back to it because I know what you're really wanting to get at. The last fight sequence between just the one Agent Smith and Neo in The Matrix 3 is bad. It has bad CGI. It's very cheesy. It didn't age well the day it came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they attempted to accomplish something, and I think they got really close to it. It is, if you watch that side by side with
Chronicle.
all the best Dragon Ball Z fights.
Oh,
Really?
It is a fucking Dragon Ball Z fight.
that's fair.
Think about it.
Huh.
If you can recall imagery from that final fight, they're in the city's just abandoned for some reason.
Yeah.
It's raining. They fly up into the air and they're hovering in the air and they're like yelling at each other, some monologues for a minute.
Yeah.
And then they sonic speed punch each other and big shock waves go out and like the buildings are collapsing around them. They're punching each other like through the earth and shit.
They're
like
craters.
Yeah, it's so over the top, and it's because it's trying to convey how those two characters, Neo and Agent Smith's power levels have risen and risen throughout the series.
God damn it, you're blowing my fucking mind right now.
It is. I enjoy watching that fight sequence for what it's. I feel like it is their attempt at doing an anime fight scene.
And since it's the Wachowskis, that's entirely possible.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
Fuck. Now I gotta go watch it again.
Just that scene, though.
Just that scene. And then stop it.
Exactly.
I want to see you in the park.
And the last one that I had on my list that I think is just bad, but has like one good, almost redeeming trait. Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
What's the redeeming trait?
The Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In a movie that butchered the Fantastic Four, butchered Doctor Doom.
Isn't that the one that butchered Galactus as well?
Yeah, Galactus is just a cloud, just a big blue-purple cloud. That Fantastic Four 2 is also the one that has the famous Mr. Fantastic dance scene. Do you remember that? He's waving his arms, and then he grabs the two ladies 10 feet, and then spins them in with this big fucking Stretch Armstrong arms, and then spins them back out, and we're supposed to say, what a good movie we're watching.
Well, I had blocked it out, but like so many therapy sessions, Jeff, you unzip me. Now it's all just coming rushing back, and now I can't escape it.
But especially the entire sequence of when the Silver Surfer first arrives, and he's flying through New York City, and why can't I think of his name? Johnny Storm. I kept wanting to say Johnny Blaze, but that's Ghost Rider. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, chases off after him because he's the only one who can fly out of the group. And they just have this crazy chase through New York City. And Johnny Storm tries to like fucking fire him with some fire, and it doesn't work. They ruined the looks of everybody as Fox always does. But the Fantastic Four, it was like some genius was like, or the Silver Surfer, it was like some genius was like, let's just fucking make him look exactly
Let's
like
just
the Silver
mocap
Surfer.
a guy and
Make him look exactly. He's a nude man,
he's
completely
just
silver on a big silver surfboard, and that idea somehow got passed.
Yeah, the idea of the Silver Surfer really is so quintessentially insane.
Oh yeah, he's goofy. It's a goofy character. It should be, but he's in the comics. He's treated as being like so fucking immensely, almost omnipotent in his power and his abilities.
That's the power cosmic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just so weird and out there that like there's an air of he's kind of intimidating when he shouldn't be because he's a fucking chrome guy on a surfboard.
On a surfboard.
But they
Surfboard.
capture that. Remember, like he's coming down through the fight and he like flips upside down at one point. And so he like turns around on the board and he's like looking at Johnny Storm, who's trying to talk to him, who's behind him.
Yeah.
And doesn't fucking say anything back. He's completely silent.
Yeah.
And then flips back up and Storm starts to catch up to him. And so he just flies through a building and Johnny freaks out thinking he's gonna like blow up the building.
Yeah.
But he just like phases right through it and comes out the other side still surfing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. They handled that character really well. That entire sequence with the Silver Surfer is just like...
And I remember even in his dialogue, they seemed to nail,
Yeah.
like, the kudos to the voice actor, I guess.
Like, I'm the Herald. Like, all the weird... Yeah, no, they just fucking... It's just one of those rare moments where it's like, shit, similar to the Riddler, I feel like. Where it's like, shit, we got a really good version of a really good character and a fucking neon shit show.
Neon shit show.
Oh.
So yeah, man, but some other, what was the one that you mentioned earlier? Repo.
Yeah, Repo the Genetic Opera. Not like Repo.
Repo Men is what.
Yeah.
Is what we'll get to. So why do you think it's good and bad?
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Are we talking about Repo Men or Repo
The Genetic Opera?
Okay, gotcha.
It's God, that movie is very bad. But like
It sure is.
I was gonna say Christina's gonna be doing a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Dude, like I really love everything about it. Like I love the concept behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the weird like music, and I like the weird appearance of Joan Jett. Like I don't know why she was there.
I forgot that
Yep.
Joan Jett's
Yep.
in it. Yeah.
Yep, just briefly. I like the just it's just so bad that it's good, man. Like there's nothing.
I think it's just bad.
I know you do. You don't
think
like
that-
musicals at all, though. Like
There's
that's
some that I like, though. I mean, there's a few musicals that I like. The reason I dislike that is not because it's a musical. It's just an incomprehensible film.
I disagree with you.
I feel like it's a series of vignettes, very quickly stitched together in an attempt at somehow thinking of a plot, but it doesn't even know what its own point is.
You should see the stage play.
It does though. Like,
I have. Because I'm pretty sure that the movie's production quality just looks like somebody filmed a fucking stage play.
That's true.
Like, so I'm pretty sure I've seen it close enough. I think that Repo Men is
it probably
much
is a much better movie,
version of that.
but this is what I've watched and I like it. You know, I'm not shitting all over your movies.
Oh, you're feel free to. I mean, I'm
just saying.
I was ready to shit all over Wild Wild West, and then I realized, actually, I guess that movie's just fine. But I don't think that Repo the Genetic Opera is just fine.
That's fine.
Did you ever see Repo Men, though, Spencer?
I did.
Did you like Repo Men?
I liked Repo Men.
It's a really good movie,
I
right?
thought it was a great adaptation, a tweak of the original story, mainly because the way that they made that last scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. So you don't like Repo the Genetic Opera at all either?
When I was still in high school,
You had a phase.
I had a phase. Well, I mean, because
Because you liked musicals.
Yeah.
And you liked being goth. And when you finally watched a musicals made for goths, you were like, shit, I like this movie.
Yeah, it
But
had.
then you stopped being goth.
It had all the right edges at the time, but
It is very edgy. And there's something for that. Like, it's I don't know, it's like an edgelord's musical dream, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that whenever you first watched it, it was at a point in your life where, like, you were at the age that you were ripe for something like that. Whereas when I first saw it, the first time I watched it was with you, just a few years back.
Oh, that's right.
Right? So I feel like maybe I was just...
You did enjoy it, though.
I watched it with you, and I was like, oh, it was better than I thought it would be. I thought, like, having never
he
seen
enjoyed
it,
it,
what I
but
thought
okay.
was that it would be the worst fucking movie ever made. And there's some worse ones. But I don't know. You see what I mean? I think that maybe when I first saw it, I wasn't at the appropriate
right.
age to where I could already kind of see the edges that it was trying to sell me on, and was like, no, man, I don't want to. I'm not a Reaper main. This has no interest in me. But
Jesus.
one that really surprised me because I was going through a bunch of movies, and just looking at Rotten Tomato ratings.
yeah.
Step Brothers
What?
only has like a 30% Rotten Tomatoes rating.
How is that possible?
Talladega Nights has a 72%.
What?
Both great movies, but Step Brothers is
Way better.
than Talladega Nights, in my opinion.
I agree. And then I looked into it further, and Step Brothers also got shat on in the reviews when it came out. And still, per Rotten
And it
Tomatoes
came
still
out
has-
right in the middle of all of those like absurdist Judd Apatow joke fests.
Yeah. But the
Wow.
weird thing is, I don't know anybody who doesn't fucking love the movie Step
Yeah,
Brothers.
yeah. That's
Right.
one of the most heavily quoted movies of my life. Just with anyone in any setting.
As a
So,
person
I
who
mean-
doesn't like movies, and especially not comedy movies, I love that fucking movie.
My mom likes that fucking movie.
I don't know. I just thought.
And then
it
I
was
showed
really
her Walk
interesting.
Hard, wasn't into it. But
Yeah. Yeah. No. I was really, really, really fucking surprised by that. Let's see. What
I
else
can't
do
even
we got?
hear the word Step Brothers without immediately just wanting to start a quote party of the movie. Like, it's one of those movies for me.
You get one. What one are you gonna go with?
Oh man, that's
Just one, dude.
that's really hard. Fuck this. Why are you sweating? Because I was watching Cops.
That's a good one. Do you want one? Do you have a quote that you want?
Dude, I just like there's so much room for activities. That one's my favorite.
I can't remember the full quote, but it's
No, you only get one, man.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna give mine now.
Do it. I hope it's
Do
the
it.
one.
Mine is gonna be. I know John Hopkins. I went to school with John Hopkins. No, you didn't, Brendan. It was me, Johnny Hopkins, and Sloan Kettering, and we were blazing that shit up every day.
All right. There were our quotes.
Now, did you have, aside from the big one, we'll bring that up last. Do you have any others that you had on your list?
There were a few ones that passed in my head briefly of just like, yeah, I actually enjoy this movie. Wild Wild West, I wrestled with for a while before I admitted that, because I know you and I have shit talked that movie just
Right.
personally in private conversations. None that I can really think like of my
I was curious
of my
what-
guilty pleasure
what
movies
came into your
now.
mind?
Spy Kids, the original Spy Kids.
That's
I
there's even something strange about those, like, because that's Robert Rodriguez.
yeah.
His fucking filmmaking history is the absolute strangest. Like,
Really?
next to maybe George Miller, I guess. Does George Miller top Robert Rodriguez?
I don't know if he does, because it's just all over the place.
No, it's pretty much two things. It's the fucking Spy Kids and all of the Spy Kids movies, and then super violent action movies.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I guess that's what I meant. Was
Well,
like,
I mean, I guess it's not all over the place as much as it bounces back and
it's
forth.
two
between
extremes.
two very specific weird things.
I gotcha.
But George Miller is very similar. I mean, George Miller did all of the original Mad Max movies, and then Happy Feet, or some movie about
Yeah, no, it
penguins,
was Happy Feet.
and then Babe 2, Pig in the City. Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a Babe 2.
yeah, Pig in the City.
I really liked Babe though.
So I guess the order is Mad Max 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Okay.
Then he didn't make movies for probably 10 years, and then Babe 2, Pig in the City, and then another little pause.
We're
and
gonna
then,
have to watch Babe
and
too,
then Happy Feet,
because I really liked Babe.
and then another decade of not making movies, and then he decided to just go ahead and make maybe the best made movie ever, Mad Max Fury Road.
That movie is really fucking good.
He really cut his teeth on Happy Feet and Babe 2, Pig in the City.
I didn't even have Babe. I had a different talking pig movie that was straight to VHS.
Yeah, no, I know.
Actually, that movie's going on the list. It's called Gorky.
What?
Yeah.
It's not Gorky. I think,
What is it?
Isn't it Gordy?
Gordy, not Gorky. I'm thinking
I think
Sebastian
it's Gordy,
Gorka.
but
yeah,
I know
it's
exactly what
Gordy.
you're talking about, and it's really fucking good. And
It's
I
not
loved
a
it.
talking pig movie. The pig doesn't talk, but the pig's a superstar. It's one of those things where like, oh, this
Dude, he's
pig's
so
going
cute.
places for
He's
no
so
reason. He
cute.
hooks up with a country singer who exists in real life.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I think it's Gordy. Let me look. 'Cause I think
And,
it's Gordy.
It's just like
and a part of the plot of
Oh
this
my
movie
God.
is just like this little girl's pig, Gordy, is like a star. It's just like one of those
like in Charlotte's Web.
Yep, it's
like
Gordy.
yeah,
Gordy.
like Wilbur, but he's like in commercials and
it has
stuff
a
like that.
26% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, there you go. So you know it's good.
Higher rated than Step Brothers, right?
Jesus.
But yeah,
Get out of there, cats.
oh yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
no, that's
man,
it for my
totally
movies.
forgotten
Besides
about
the
that.
big one.
All right, all right.
Totally
This
forgot
is
about
the
that movie.
whole reason why we even had this theme on this
It was really
podcast.
just secretly to talk about one movie.
Yeah.
We get that obnoxious little kitten.
Hey,
Away
don't
from
be
those
mean.
lines.
Hey, Bubs, get away
I
from
asked
the
him
blinds.
to get him. I'm not being
You
mean.
said obnoxious little kitten.
He is an obnoxious kitten.
He is sweet and a little angel.
Facts, people, educate.
He bites me on the nose.
Shield their eyes.
Now, I had a couple other movies on my list.
Go for it.
So, Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, really?
It's so horrible. But
It is horrible.
But I am always down to watch the movie Maximum Overdrive.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And maybe just because I think maybe I enjoy it to spite Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's literally something enjoyable about knowing that it's one of the worst movies ever made. And that it's the one that Stephen King made because he was like, well, they keep fucking ruining my good books. I'll make my own story and do my own movie on it, and I'll really show them. And the fucking result was Maximum Goddamn Overdrive. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I take a good sense of smug satisfaction from watching that fucking
No, that makes total sense. Knowing you as a person,
cocaine-fueled nightmare.
knowing your character. Oh yeah, not just cocaine, man. Oh, he was fucked up.
And then also, I mean, this is really fucked up, but I do love watching the scene where the vending machine kills that little league team.
What?
Christine, have you never
you
seen
never-
Maximum Overdrive?
Oh my god, Christina! Maximum Overdrive was made in the late 80s, so it was a world before computers controlled everything, okay? Which is important to know when viewing it today. But it's about all the machines coming to life and trying to kill mankind because of an asteroid that gets close to the Earth.
What?
Right? It's an asteroid?
Yeah.
With real bad, like, purple effects around it at
Yeah.
the beginning and end. So, there is a sequence
No.
in which a little league team playing baseball, softball, goes up to a vending machine to get some Coke, and the coach puts in the money and nothing comes out. So he leans down to look at it, and fucking launches the can of Coke out, beams him in the fucking head, and kills him. And then it just starts fucking shooting cans at the entire team like a goddamn machine gun, mowing the kids down. Speaking of mowing down, you see a lawnmower, a push mower, driving down the street with blood all over it as it's like mutilated everybody outside. There's all the cars come to life.
What?
They like literally come to life. Like they're able to move a push mower can't move of its own accord, but this one can.
There's no mechanism for the wheels to turn aside from someone pushing it.
But not in Stephen King's coke-fueled fucking mid-80s head.
They kill that in the first 15 minutes. Do you remember the like electric turkey carver that's
What?
just sitting on a counter and just spins itself around?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
It makes no sense. But the main plot of the movie is this group of people who are inside this little diner. It's like a diner and a gas station. And it becomes surrounded by cars, okay? And semi-trucks. And the semi-trucks are led by a big semi for a toy company that inexplicably has the Green Goblin's head on it.
licensed Marvel Green Goblin.
Yeah.
What?
And not like it's like the Green Goblin's face is painted on the semi-truck. It's like the front of the semi-truck has a big 3D sculpture of the Green Goblin. Complete
and the
with
mouth,
glowing red eyes.
Yeah, and the mouth is the grill of the semi-truck.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna look this shit up right now.
What?
But it keeps the humans, just those humans, alive inside the diner because even though all the machines can do all these things that they have no mechanism for, you know what they can't do?
No.
Just guess. Think of the dumbest reason that a bunch of trucks would need to keep some people alive inside of a gas station.
Do they need to have their blood? Like, I don't know.
No, they can't pump their own gas, Christina.
They don't have the ability to pump because for some reason the gas pumps do.
They communicate via Morse code by honking their horns.
What the fuck?
Looking at the picture now? Oh yeah, dude. They communicate via Morse code by honking their horns in order to force somebody to come out to fill them all up with gas. And
Your silence is telling.
And the people have to outsmart the vehicles to get away safely. And in the end, they even don't. The asteroid just passes by and everything goes back to normal.
Yeah.
There's not even like
what? Well,
yeah.
He can't end a story to save his fucking life.
No, he certainly cannot.
It's
He
just
can't.
like, well,
But if you had only ever seen that movie, you'd think for sure that he couldn't write a damn story to save his life.
man. But I really enjoy watching that movie. I also got Hocus Pocus, dude.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking in terms of cult classics like that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's bad. I mean, that movie's not a good movie.
No.
Christina genuinely doesn't like it at all.
There's a musical number and
Yeah. I really...
you
Like,
don't
I can-
like Hocus Pocus?
I can
You-
see the
you
appeal,
strike
but
right
no.
up her alley.
I
right?
know, you strike me as one of those girls who like lived by that.
No.
Did you prefer Halloween Town?
I
No.
preferred Halloween Town, but that's beside the point. No, that was another one I was gonna bring up. His fucking Disney Channel movies don't
Just-
get enough love.
Oh, God.
We could do a whole separate podcast on Disney
We
Channel
will.
We should,
original
yeah, dude.
movies.
Let's not even bring
Yeah.
it up. I'm totally down.
Okay.
Just a whole podcast based on
Zetus
Xenon.
Lapidus.
Oh, Zetus Lapidus.
Zetus Lapidus. Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, the trilogy. You forget. It's a trilogy.
I didn't know there was a third one.
There's a third
I knew
one.
There was two.
I believe there's a third one. There's totally a third one. Yeah.
What's the name of that band? Zip Zorp.
It's no, it was fuck.
Whatever, man. We will do a whole Disney
Yeah,
original
yeah.
movies podcast. Oh, that's all I can think of now. But Hocus Pocus, that's a bad movie. That doesn't have good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, but like our generation, everybody loves that movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where it's a rite of passage, just about.
To be old enough to watch Hocus Pocus and not be scared by it.
Well, in mine,
a rite of
it's to bring up Hocus Pocus in Sunday school and be told that it's witchcraft and that you're a bad child for watching it. Fucking goddamn Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
I probably wasn't allowed to watch it, per my mom, I'm sure. I have another one, Drop Dead Fred. Has a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And somehow, when doing research for this episode, Drop Dead Fred was the one that was most surprising to me.
He got really surprised.
All the other movies that I knew were bad in my head, like, I knew that they were bad.
And critically so.
Yeah. And then Drop Dead Fred, for some reason, I wasn't ready to learn that it was bad.
How could you not already know?
I fucking love that movie, dude.
Shout
I love
out
that movie so much.
Shout out to James. The only time I've ever seen that is when I spent the night at his place once, and he so gleefully was like, "We're gonna watch this movie because you've never seen it. Oh my god, I can't believe you've never seen it. This was one of my favorite movies that I've ever known in my life."
It was one of mine too, dude. So you don't think did you like it when you watched it with James?
I'll tell you the same thing that I told him. I think it's endearing.
That's it.
That's what I got for it.
Ooh.
I think that's one of those things, man, where you got to be brought up with it or you're out of the loop.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Have you ever watched it?
No.
I can't believe I haven't made you watch it at some point.
I'm glad you didn't.
Get ready for that.
Ugh.
I think you'll like it.
It's probably going to be endearing.
Also, this one is, I genuinely think it is a good movie, and I don't understand why it gets so much grief. Spawn, the original Spawn movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's at only 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I guess is fine for...
The costume design and prosthetics should get a 25% on their own.
And
on their own.
The acting, like, nobody fucking hams it up.
Yeah.
The special effects for their time, I thought, are fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and for...
Martin Sheen's scary.
Yeah. And for a really long time, I'm pretty sure that was the best and most faithful comic book movie ever made. Probably until fucking Iron Man came out.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as most faithful goes, there's still an argument to be made.
Yeah. I do not get all the grief that it gets. I watched... You've never seen Spawn, right?
No.
You watched that fan film that I was watching the other day. You looked over and started watching it, remember?
No, I don't remember.
The little boy lost in the grocery store.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Have you ever seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
What?
There's this, like, online fan film that's a Spawn fan film.
No. I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, it's really fucking badass. Todd McFarlane's doing a new Spawn movie, and I'm excited for that, but also, fucking John Leguizamo.
The last time we talked about Spawn on the podcast, yeah, it comes down to John Leguizamo, for
As
sure.
the fucking Violator, dude. You know, he ate that pizza covered in maggots.
What?
Did you know that? Yeah. You know the scene when Spawn at one point comes, because he always is like dropped out of hell in a random spot in the city. He's dropped in the middle of a fucking alleyway, and the Violator's there rummaging through a dumpster.
I know the scene.
Those maggots were real maggots.
That's where I was headed. Those were real maggots.
Yes, those are real maggots in a real pizza that was in a real dumpster.
No.
That covered
you gotta stop.
Covered in all that crazy fucking makeup. He's just fucking mowing down and delivering his lines.
Now that's method acting.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
How did they make him so damn short? I don't know. Whatever. Great fucking movie. And now the real reason that we wanted to do this.
I'm not prepared.
Go hit him with it.
Are you ready to stop being a driver and start being a racer? Yeah, it's Speed Racer.
The Universal penultimate good fucking movie. Not even a movie so bad that it's good.
A movie so good that it's great.
A movie so good that the world just isn't fucking ready for it, and they choose, similar to when the conquistadors first came and the natives purportedly didn't see the ships. Physically, they couldn't see the ships.
Yeah.
Because it was so beyond their understanding that their brain didn't know how to process it.
Yeah.
Similarly to how good this movie is, people can't process it. So their brain interprets it as being bad.
Just because there is no information to fill in. Mm-hmm. Like their brains cannot possibly receive... It is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life.
I fucking love this movie too. Christina, how much do you love Speed Racer?
I don't. I didn't like that movie.
Wow.
I guess I can't see the ships, man.
You son of a bitch.
Okay, well, since you're a part of the majority who believes it's bad, why do you think it's bad? I know you've been made to watch it at least 5 times.
I think I've only been made to watch it once.
Okay.
Honestly. But, like, number one, I don't like watching movies. And I don't... Sure. Number two, I especially don't like it when I am forced to watch a movie.
Okay.
Those two things were in place.
Okay.
And also, just, like, there was just so much going on in that movie, I felt like. There was just so much... like crammed into that movie that it was like, I don't even, what the fuck is going on in this fucking movie?
Yeah. Here's my first point about Speed Racer that speaks to that. Is Speed Racer is a 2.5 hour movie that is 8 hours long. Mm-hmm. It is also a movie that ends once, but has 3 endings. Yeah. It ends, and then it keeps going, and then it ends. and then it keeps going, and then it ends once more for all.
For all.
So, what I think the Wachowskis did was made the most faithful adaptation of an animated property into live action that could possibly be done with the technology that we have available to us.
I think it still is the best animated to live action ever made.
Currently. And probably will hold that crown for a while.
I think it will hold that for a very long time.
Just because nobody will have the balls to do what the Wachowskis did.
Yes. I think they took a lot of big risks that a lot of people didn't enjoy. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I enjoy it. There are so many cool things in that movie, from the concepts of just how they handle the CGI. A lot of people said, "Oh, there's too much CGI in this movie." It's like, yeah, well, it's a fucking cartoon.
Yeah,
it's a bright, colorful fucking cartoon.
It's also about a sport that couldn't possibly exist within the realm of physics.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to.
And like, I don't know, dude. And it gets strangely emotional, man.
It gets incredibly emotional. Like, this is so many movies wrapped in one. This is a racing movie. This is an organized crime movie. This is a bringing down capitalist scum movie. This is a performance enhancing drug during sports movie because of the spear hook and the illegal things that they were using.
Yeah.
It's a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a story of the everyman.
It's a story of the everyman. It's a long lost brother movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a family. It's about family.
Yeah.
More than anything, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. So like, I think it taps into something very base within people that I think using speed racers. The specific racing that they have is a very good way of portraying like the base level of just fantasy and wanting to be the very best at something,
right?
And like this sense of competition and stuff like that. But it is so incredibly over the top. The races aren't just races. The races are boxing matches. The races are like two wrestlers grappling against one another, only they're cars. The race tracks are a Hot Wheels fever dream.
Yeah,
like
it's a neon shit show.
It is a neon goddamn shit show.
I think there's a lot of similarities between what the Wachowskis tried to do at the end of Matrix 3 and what they did with Speed Racer, though.
Yeah,
that's the bit that I was setting up. You know,
excuse me.
When I was blowing your mind. No, you didn't override it. I'm just getting to it now. I think that's kind of maybe always what they were trying to do with The Matrix.
Is make it look like a live action anime.
Yeah. If you think about it, there's a lot of things that happen in The Matrix that follow anime tropes.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And then with Speed Racer, they finally got a license to just do an anime. And they fucking did it 100% balls through the fucking wall.
Yeah.
And I think that it's honestly kind of sad that most people dislike that movie and that it didn't do well.
I think it could, in another universe, I think it's their magnum opus.
I think that it would have a better shot if it came out today.
Yeah.
Than it, as is, that people would be more open
after
to it.
the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. And weirdly also after things like Fury Road.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's just something about its narrative structure, and how it kind of sets it up. There's this race and then this race and this race, and these are the races you have to do, and those are the races he does. Like, there's not any plot twists, you know what I'm saying? Except for, of course, the big reveal about Rex Racer.
Yeah.
But faithful to the cartoon show, that's so heavily fucking telegraphed that twist is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And they twist it by when he takes the mask off, it's not Rex Racer. And you're like, shit, whoa, what? And then they reveal, oh, also I had facial reconstructive surgery, which was never a part of the anime, but like, is just.
But the Wachowskis saw it
course,
and decided that we have a device.
Have you ever seen the Rex Racer reveal from the anime?
No.
He fucking. You've never seen it?
No. What?
Speed fucking. Speed finally calls out Racer X. And it's like after a race. And they're like on this mountaintop.
Oh, you've made me watch
They're on this mountaintop. And Speed's like, oh, just be honest with me. I know after all these years of us racing together, I can tell by the way you drive. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You are my brother, aren't you? Just tell me, please. Rex, take off that mask, Rex. I know it's you, Rex. And he's like, Speed, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm not your brother. And he reaches for the mask and starts to take it off with his left hand, and it just fucking rails him right in the gut with the right hook.
Are you serious?
Yes. And Speed goes, oh, and like bends over and fucking blacks out. He just knocks him the fuck out with a gut punch. And then fucking runs away. and then
He's crying.
And then what's her name? Trixie flies by in the helicopter and sees Speed passed out on the top of the mountain and flies down to get him. It's like, I guess it wasn't really him after all.
I guess it wasn't.
And Speed was like, we'll never know.
No way.
Oh
No.
my God.
That can't be
seen it.
possible.
Seen it.
But yeah, man, the movie does the melodrama, the fucking
mythos and anxiety that surrounds Rex's death.
Mm-hmm.
And when Speed decides to go to do the rally race and the friction that causes between him and his family. Because like you're just walking right in the footsteps of Rex and, you know, this disgraced driver who all Speed really wants to do. Like it's outwardly seems like Speed's just like, I want to be the best. I want to do it for glory. But when it comes down to it, he's doing it for Rex and he's doing it for Pops.
Mm-hmm. He wants Pops Racing Company to succeed, and he doesn't want to be the best. He wants to be the second best.
Yeah.
And he wants Rex to always be the best.
Yeah.
Like, there's...
I joke about this line so much, but it really, when I hear it spoken by Racer X, it seriously holds so much weight to me when you're talking about Speed as a character. When he tells Speed, you don't get into the cockpit of a T-180 to be a driver, you do it because you're driven. And like, yes, it's cheesy as all hell,
dude.
but oh my God, if that doesn't speak so much to his character, if that's not it in a nutshell.
There's so many incredibly well-written lines that can be like attributed to so many things, like the one we always make fun of, the when are you ready to stop being a driver and start being a racer? You could like, it's an incredibly melodramatic line.
Yeah, and it has layers.
Right. But you could twist that and apply it to so many more serious things. You know, like if you're like a salesman in a sales position at a job, like what would fucking amp you up more than if your boss trying to amp you up got in your fucking face and was like, when are you ready to stop being a salesperson and start making sales?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You'd be like, yeah,
there's,
I'm
there's
jacked,
a
you're
line
right.
that you need to cross.
Mm-hmm. It's like, stop. And
But in the movie, what he's referencing, what he is saying to Speed at that point is, when are you going to stop being a fucking kid, realize all of this is rigged, and join in on the game? Mm-hmm. But the way Speed hears that is what ultimately makes him change his mind. Right. He's like, you know what? You're right. I need to be a racer. I need to do it for my own reasons. That's why I'm not going to.
Yep.
Sign this. And like the fucking, when he tells the story of the rigged first Grand Prix and he's got that fucking twisted hunk of metal in his office and he's trying to intimidate Speed and doing it seemingly effectively talking to him about how it's all a fucking game. It's all fucking rigged. The little guy never wins. We try to make it seem like he does because that's good for ratings and that's good for money and that's good for stories. And at the end he says, "This is my religion." He's terrifying in that moment. He's just a big business guy in a building who has a bunch of wacky hallways where just now we got a cut to a chimpanzee and a 10-year-old playing around in a golf cart with a bunch of candy and jelly beans. But then we go back and he's like one of the most terrifying people I've ever seen.
Also, John Goodman's in it.
That's another thing I was going to say is that people don't talk enough about the star power. Christina Ricci as Trix. Fucking John Goodman as Pops Racer. Susan Sarandon as Mom Racer.
Is that her name? I don't think it's Mom Racer.
It's got to be Mom's Racer.
I don't know. Yeah, man. It's a fucking dude. If you're listening to this, okay. Which first off, why? Okay. And second off, how dare you? But if you are and you've never seen Speed Racer, fucking. I'm not saying to pirate the movie, but just like fucking pirate the movie and watch it.
If you have the means, it is so choice.
I highly suggest you pick it up. It is one of the best. I think it is one of my favorite movies ever made by far.
It really is in my top 5 movies of all time. Like,
if you lump all the Star Wars movies as one.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can lump franchises together. That gets tricky.
Jeff, tell me your top 20 favorite movies. I just got to start listing Marvel movies and Star Wars movies. I don't know if they'll be in the right order, but there's a lot.
In no particular order, here are my top 32.
But
I just started carrying business cards for when people ask me that question. It's got a list.
Is there anything else you have to say about old Speed Racer? Oh, I will say that I legitimately fucking cry in that movie.
Yeah.
I cry when he lets off the gas when he's racing the ghost.
Yeah, right at the beginning. And that's a great introduction to Speed.
To the character.
And to his family as well, because you can see their reaction. Like, Spritel's like, "Oh man, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, Pops." And you see John Goodman look at the stopwatch and he's like, I don't know. You can tell, like, he doesn't know how to feel about it. Like, that record
he really
is one of the last things that they have of Rex.
Yeah, he's entered a race and he's racing against a bunch of people, but the course track record is his older brother Rex Racer, who is deceased. But he has the fastest lap time that anyone's ever had on the track. And Speed, the announcers start bringing it up, the way they amp it up, are like, he's not racing against the other racers anymore. He's pulled so far ahead of everybody else in the race that he's now racing the ghost of his brother, Rex Racer. And then they visualize it by showing Rex's the Mach 4 or whatever it is, right? The red car.
Like, Speed sees it.
Yeah, and he sees it physically on the track as a ghost, like what happens in, like, racing video games when you race against a ghost. That term is...
You're racing against your best time or the track's best time.
Yeah, and, like, he gets, like, up inside of the ghost and then passes it and then lets off the gas right before the finish line, so he's just a split second less in his time than Rex's ghost. So he's proven to himself that he knows he can do it better than Rex, but he's not willing to allow himself to actually beat the track record. Because you're right, then that memory of his brother would be erased. That name's not going to be up there on the sign for everybody to see.
No, and I will also say one thing that I'm glad you started talking about the announcers. That's how almost every single bit of backstory and exposition gets presented, is over the course of the 3 or 4 races that you see, if you count that first one.
Right.
The announcers are telling you about Rex, are telling you about his fall from grace.
Oh, yeah, they're like, he's racing against the ghost of his brother, Racer Rex, who of course died in the great whatever rally and whatever year. Which is exactly how the anime told its stories too. Like, it's fucking phenomenal. But I guess that pretty much does it for old Geekout Freakout, guys. You've you wasted some more of your time. I apologize.
We'll be back next week to talk about The Defenders.
Fuck yeah, we will.
Hey.
And probably continue to argue about Doomfist some more. I'm out of here.
Do you want to
Bye.
give us a little sign off, Christina?
Bye.
It's fist o'clock.
What?
Fucking
Doomfist. That's what I always say if I'm playing Doomfist. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
It's Mr. Fister.
Yeah, it's Mr. Fister.
I prefer it's
Doomfist.
fist o'clock.
Guys, if you liked what you heard, be sure to like, comment,
Give us a fist.
and subscribe. Go ahead and
Give us a fist.
fist that bell.
Fist the like button.
Rocket punch the like button.
Fist it all, man.
But you should aim a little bit better because you can't hit it from as far away as you used to be able to.
That's true. Till next time. This has been Geekout Freakout.
It is a big Geekout Freakout.
Bye.